Okay, I think we are live. Let me check. Okay. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another YouTube live session on the Pinkfresh Studio channel. Yeah, I'm happy to be back. It's been a while because we had to cancel one YouTube live 2 weeks ago, and things got pushed back. So it's been a while since I've been here. And yeah, I'm excited. Today I'm going to be working with 2 current collections, not any of the new ones, but I already have the new ones in my hands, and I can tell you they are beautiful. So yeah, you should definitely, or you will definitely be very, very happy with them. Just one quick thing. So behind the Pinkfresh Studio name today is Heather. Hi, Heather. And hi, everyone else. Hi, Cindy, Jane, Teresa. So one quick thing that I should mention, I will mention it again in a few minutes when more people have joined, but Heather wanted me to tell you that the craft hour with Jeff is not this weekend, but the next weekend. So May 13th is the next craft hour on the Pinkfresh Studio channel. So just to make sure that you have the right information. Yeah, and as always, you can win a $15 gift card to the Pinkfresh Studio channel. All you have to do is be active in the chat, leave comments, and let us know when you left a thumbs up or when you shared this video with a friend in a Facebook group, in a message, wherever you like. So yeah, and then I will flip my camera to show you what we will be working with today. Let me flip it. Okay, here we go. So I picked a few things from the Flower Market and Chrysanthemum collections and wanted to combine them, as well as some dyes. So you cannot find all of the products linked in the description below. Yeah, and a few papers or scraps also from Spring Vibes. I'm not sure exactly what I will end up using, but in any case, it's all of the current collections that are available in the online shop. So this is my photo for today. And as you can tell by the title of today's video, I titled it Circle Design Scrapbook Layout. So you can already see lots of circles here on my table, on my desk. And what I thought I would do, because, circle designs always work. And when I went through the products I had left from those collections after all of the projects I've made, I came across some circle embellishments and, those frames from the Chrysanthemum collection. And I thought, why not do a circle design? So these are actually from the chipboard frames from the sticker sheet, but I peeled off the sticky layer to use them as kind of embellishments, as, kind of die cuts, so I can move them around without them sticking to my papers. So this is something you can do. You could also use just some baby powder on the back of your stickers to make them not sticky, but this is the easiest way I find with the chipboard pieces, because they have several layers of like really thin paper or something, and then the sticky layer, and you can just peel it off and you can't even see it from the front. So in any way, I'm going to use some of those pieces, and I also picked out just a few things that caught my eye that I thought might go with the design I had in mind and with the colors I had in mind, because to be honest, I didn't want to spend most of this video just looking through and rifling through all of the different ephemera packs from the different collections, because obviously there's lots of different products in the 3 collections. But as I said, I will mostly work with Flower Market and Chrysanthemum. I might use a few pieces from Spring Vibes here and there, but I will tell you as I go. And as for the papers, So I already went ahead and picked a few things. So you can see this is kind of the color scheme I'm going for. It's kind of mostly inspired by the Chrysanthemum collection. So kind of pink, a bit of yellow and green, and maybe a touch of orange, we will see. I'm not sure about blue. So I have one, where is it? One blue and green checkered blue frame left, but I don't think I probably won't use this because I feel like I don't want to include blue. But what I definitely want to do, so I already played around with some ideas before this video and, you know, look through the circle dies I have from Pink Fresh Studios. So this is these two sets. And then I also completely forgot about this one. So these two are linked in the description below. This one I will link later. It's the inverted stitched scallop circles. That's a mouthful. And the diagonal stitched circles. And this is the mini slimline essentials bundle. So you also get some circles in that bundle. So I will use those dies to die cut some of those papers. But obviously, I also want to use some of the circular embellishments I already have. But one thing that I definitely want to do, so as I said, I was playing around and I thought I would try something with this hot foil plate without having to hot foil in this video, because I don't really have the time to do that. So what you can do with your hot foil plates is you can use them for dry embossing. Not sure if you've ever tried it, but it's a beautiful, the result is beautiful. It's a bit softer, I would say, than with an embossing folder. And that way you can also get, you know, more use out of your hot foil plates. So this is something that I definitely want to show you on camera so you know how to do it. So I will just recreate this circle here, which also, I kind of ripped it up when I was trying some things out. So I want to redo this. So what I will do is grab the largest circle from the diagonal stitched circles dies. And that's a piece of white cardstock that's already kind of cut to size. And then the hot foil plate. Hi, Natalie. Hi, Krista. Hi, Deborah. And Debbie. Okay, so there's two ways you can do this because I will die cut and dry emboss on the same piece. If you die cut first, and then, so this die also creates this kind of stitched edge around the circle. If I die cut first and then do the dry embossing, obviously the dry embossing will also cover some of this edge. But if I dry emboss first and then die cut, running it through the die cutting machine a second time with the dry embossing already done will kind of flatten the dry embossing a little bit. So you have to choose which you want to do first, you know, what is more important to you, having a very crisp, clean edge or a very even and detailed embossing. So that's two ways to do it. But if you only dry emboss without die cutting and just cutting it by hand, then you don't have to worry about that. So let me grab my spellbinders. So I'm using the Platinum 6. If you use a different machine, you might have to use a different sandwich. Let me check if I'm in the frame. And I'm sorry if the camera is shaking a little bit. So on this plate, it already tells you if you want to dry emboss, what you have to do. But keep in mind, if you dry emboss with a hot foil plate versus a die, the hot foil plate is a little bit thicker than a die. So you have to kind of account for that and maybe use something that's a little bit thinner. So let me show you. So what I have to do, what it tells me is, I have my platform, then the die, or in my case, the hot foil plate with the design up, faced up. then the paper on top, then I would have to put the tan embossing mat and then the embossing plate. But since my hot foil plate is, as I said, thicker than a regular die, I won't use the embossing plate, which is the thickest part. So I will have hot foil plate, paper, tan embossing mat, and then instead of the embossing plate, which is quite thick, I will just use the regular cutting plate. And if that's not enough, then you can just use a paper shim in between. But if you try with the with this embossing plate, you will find that you won't be able to push it through, and your machine will kind of, it just won't work. So don't destroy your machine. And that already should have worked. Yeah. So as you can see, I get this really pretty design. And if you dry emboss with a die, another trick is to kind of wet your paper just a little bit, just get it damp, not really, really wet, but damp, so that the paper won't rip or the die won't rip your paper in some places. But since I'm using a hot foil plate that doesn't have these very sharp edges, I'm not too worried about that. So I really love this design. So as you can tell, this is a little bit more detailed and a little bit deeper, the impression, than on this piece. And this is because I die cut it after doing the dry embossing, which I'm going to do that way again this time. But as I said, if you could also do it the other way around. And you can just kind of play around with it and, see what works best for you and your die cutting machine. So now for die cutting, I'm just using the regular sandwich again. And you can see my plates are absolutely short, but I use them until they break in half. Okay, so you can see here, it did kind of flatten out a little bit, but you can still see the design. So I'm good with that, I'm fine with that, but you could also reverse the order of doing this. Okay, so just let me make some room. So I already have this circle. I have my photo that I definitely want to cut into a circle as well, because I want to have just basically just circles on my page. Let me just put this to the side. I won't need that anymore. And then another thing that I played around with was I die cut this panel here with the floral grid die, cover plate die, that I also used in my last YouTube live session because I absolutely love it. And then I used the inverted stitched scallop circles, the large one, and die cut this window into it. And then I thought, hey, why not place my photo behind it? But obviously I want a circle. So what I'm going to do now is die cut this kind of frame out of this panel. And the great thing is, because I centered it, I can still use this panel on a card maybe later on and just have, things peeking out from that. So nothing goes to waste. And because this time I really want to make sure that the edge is even, the distance between the stitched edge and the cut line is even, I'm going to tape the die down a little bit with some low-tech tape. Trying to get it as even as I can. Okay. And now I have this really pretty frame. And I'm going to carefully peel this up because, as I said, I still want to be able to use this panel on a card maybe. So I could either use it, you know, as a window or like a shaker card, or I could also use it and cover that part up so you don't even see it and just then it looks like I have this as a background. So I'm going to put this back into the sleeve with the die. And then I can put that aside. And now you can see how I can put my photo behind it. It doesn't, like my photo isn't the full size of this frame, but I'm not too worried about it because when things are said and done and everything's placed on the layout, you won't be able to tell because I will overlap things, so it's all good. But what I do want to do now is just maybe not with liquid adhesive because I have all of these tiny holes. So I'm just going to use my tape runner. And I'm trying to, because if you remember, so it was a grid on a design, even though you can't really tell. So you do have these straight lines. So I want to make sure that the lines are still straight, even though you know, they are not complete, but you would still be able to tell if it was kind of wonky. At least I would, and it would drive me crazy. So, yeah. So now I'm just going to cut this off. As I said, I'm not too worried about some parts not being backed with the photo. That's all good. Okay. The only thing that I'm noticing now is that I do have these two large circles on here, and I'm not sure if I'm liking that. So I might, yep, I will cut that one down just a little bit. Because I feel like those two large circles and this one being the same size as the photo kind of takes the focus away from my photo, if that makes sense. Although it's not ideal to be die cutting it again because this will flatten it a little bit more, but it is what it is. So if this wasn't a YouTube live, I would probably go ahead and dry emboss another one, but we don't have time for that. Okay, so let's see what circle embellishments I already have that I can incorporate into this design so that I can see what else I will have to die cut. Obviously, lots of enamel dots. And the chipboard flare works great for that as well. And then I also have some of those layered stickers left from Flower Market, but I think none of them work. Well, maybe this one with my color scheme. So this might work. But I don't really want to use the hearts. Let's see. Okay, so, oh, and one other thing. So this is the piece that I kept from, you know, from the inside of my panel where I die cut this piece from. So I kept this. Nothing goes to waste, as I said. So I can use this and back one of the frames, for example. So yeah, so that I also repeat this pattern again. But I also definitely want to include some pieces of pattern paper. So let's see. And I want to make sure that I use up some of my scraps that I have left. Nope, I feel like the green is a bit too harsh, a bit too bright. Okay, so I'm just trying to find something that I can maybe back this circle with, so it's not that empty. And I feel like this paper would work because I want to use this behind the smaller frame, because I feel like if I put it behind the large frame, it's a bit too much white, white, white. So let's do that. Let's put the frame on here. And I know I already did that in the last YouTube live, but I just love the look of this. And that way I can also use that piece up that would normally just go to waste. So okay, I have this. So let's see. So either this one or I don't really feel like I think for the pattern papers, I'm going to stick with kind of pink, peachy, and yellow tones and just have the green as highlights in flowers and things like that. Oh, that looks nice. I like that. I feel like that's the best option. Yeah. I do like the gingham, Teresa, but I feel like it's a bit too much with what I have in mind design-wise. But as a paper as such, the gingham is really pretty. So I'm trying to pick a piece that has kind of this peachy and light pink tone. Not sure if you can really see the difference on camera. And I'm just going to cut it roughly and then let the glue dry. And once it's dry, I'm going to cut off the excess. So this was also in this chipboard frames from the Chrysanthemum collection. And here's what I did with the other pieces. So I just peeled off, as I said, the sticky layer, it comes right off. And now I can move it around, you know, without it sticking to my page. So let's see. I feel like this floral design, even though I really like it, is kind of competing with this floral design and it's not really matching. So I probably won't use that. Although I really like it. It's one of my favorite papers from the Flower Market collection. But I feel like it just doesn't really work. Now I can cut off the rest or the excess. And I just slide my scissors underneath the frame because, as you can see, I don't cut it exactly because it doesn't matter. You can't even see the back. So, you know, don't waste time cutting this out perfectly. Just slide your scissors underneath, angle them a little bit, and then it's really quick and easy to cut off the excess of that paper. So I'm thinking about having kind of like a vertical circle design, just, you know, arranging different embellishments and papers kind of overlapping and having them come from the top to the bottom. You could also do it horizontally, but since last time I did kind of a horizontal layout, I was thinking about this. You could also just group them in the center and have more of like a condensed space with the circles, but I feel like I want to stretch them out a little bit. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to grab the Mini Slimline Essentials bundle. I will link that after the live session in the description below. They are not linked right now. Just going to grab all of the circle dies so that I can die cut a few more pieces of pattern paper and then, you know, see where I can go with that. So this one maybe. And I want a few smaller ones, nothing too big. I want the photo to be the biggest circle of them all. I'm not 100% sure about the yellow. I feel like it's a bit too bright. I did have another yellow paper. Where is it? There. And I feel like that's too bright as well. So what else can I do? Well, as I said, I want more florals, but as I said, I feel like this is competing. So what I can do, because this is from the Chrysanthemum collection, is use the washi tape from that collection and use it kind of like a pattern paper. So I'm just going to cover this piece of white cardstock. Doesn't have to be perfect. Because I won't cut out the individual flowers, but we'll treat it as a pattern paper. Okay. So what I will do with that is cut it like this, or I could cut these flowers. I think I'm going for these, having this kind of all three colors. So let's do it. Let's die cut these pieces. And maybe part of this sheet where it's a little bit more green. Because I feel like the gingham might be too much, you know, too much pattern. This is a little bit softer, but it still brings in the green. Okay. And I'm going to, you know, try to use a few different sizes of circle dies here. So this one has the same stitched or like stitched edge as the die that I used on this dry embossed piece. Let's see. Nope. Going to go for this. And you know, since I already have this piece on the die cutting machine, I'm just going to go ahead and die cut a circle from each part of that, so I have different options. And I'm sorry for the shaking. Okay. So now I have these pieces here that I can use on my page. I might not use all of them, but I can use them on a card later on or something. And I have this die here that also cuts a really pretty edge. I think it only cuts the edge, right? Yeah. And I'm going to cut them both at once. You could also do first one and then the other, but trying to save some time. So let's see. Yeah. So see, this one cuts out these kind of this back cut edge. So I can put that to the side. I haven't used this, so let's go ahead. As I said, I'm just die cutting all of those pieces, and then I'm trying to figure out what to do with them, where to put them, and so on. You could also use a circle punch if you want some smaller circles, but I feel like I have enough embellishments for the small size, like the chipboard flare and the enamel dots, so I don't want to clutter up the layout with too many pieces of pattern paper. Oh, thank you so much, Vicky. I'm glad that you learn so much from these lives. That's why we do them. And one last piece, and then I will try to figure out what to actually do with all of these pieces. So let's see if there's a circle that I haven't used. I haven't used a small one, but that would cut out a frame like this. And I'm not sure if I will try it. Maybe I can use the frame for my journaling, for example. But I lost the die that goes with this, so that cuts out the circle as such. So I will have to use a different one that is not the perfect size. So you can see I have this kind of window right now, so it only cuts the inside and then punches the holes and the stitched border. And then I will have to use this die, which it's really tight. So the die that actually goes with this one would leave you a little bit more room between the stitched line and the outside. But as I said, I lost it. So I have to improvise and hope that this piece doesn't fall apart when I die cut it. So let's see. All good, it worked. So I think I can put my die cutting machine to the side. I don't think I will do any more die cutting. I have lots of pieces and probably won't even end up using all of them. So let me just a quick cleanup, just so that I can see what I have used and what I have left. So I think I can put the pattern papers to the side now. Don't think I will use any more of them. And also the dies, that will be fun, putting them all back together in the package where they belong. But I will do that after the live. Okay, good. Now I can move on. I'm not sure if you ever feel that like that, but sometimes I feel like if things around my layout are too cluttered, I feel like I can't concentrate and, you know, have to move things to the side a little bit and get things organized just a little bit so I can move on. So let's see, I'm just, you know, just going to place down a few things and then see where this is going, if it's working, if I need something else, and so on. So what I was thinking with this frame here is either leave it empty or back it just with a very, very neutral pattern paper for my journaling. So I can put my journaling inside, but I could also put the journaling in this on this piece. So we will see. But I like this. I really like the addition of this soft green. But I feel like it also needs a pop of orange. So the photo was actually perfect because it has the same color as this orange in the Chrysanthemum collection. So this is why I was choosing between two photos, but I felt like this was a perfect match. So now I'm just trying to figure out a way to balance out the colors. So I have the orange here in my photo, and then I'm trying to have at least one more place where I have the orange. I talk about that in my lives all the time, like have things in threes or uneven numbers. And then the same goes with the pink. So I have the pink in this frame here. I have that pink frame. And then I will definitely incorporate at least one other pink element, maybe like this chipboard flare, to repeat it again. So this is what I'm trying to figure out right now. And also have like a good distribution of the different sizes of the circles. So I don't want to have all of the small circles in one place and then all of the large ones in one place, but have them kind of, you know, more or less evenly distributed across my layout. So this is my thinking right now. And I didn't include, so one reason why I didn't want to include the blue is that I feel like this layout has already, or all of the elements have already a lot going on with the different edges, with the different textures. So I felt like keeping the colors more or less to a minimum would help make this layout not too busy and too cluttered. But as I said, I might not end up using all of the pieces. We will see. Let me check if I have anything else in here. So I also have some of those die-cut vellum leaves. I already have those on hand, and also some from white cardstock because they just work with everything. So I might use those. And then I also picked a few other pieces, mostly from the Chrysanthemum die-cut pack. So this won't work because I decided against the blue. And also some die-cut words from, I would have to look up the hot foil, the name of the hot foil plate and the die. Maybe Heather can help out. So I always have those. I have those, you know, pre-made in different colors of foils, just because I like them so much and they work with everything. And they actually more or less meant for card making, but some of the phrases work perfectly with layouts as well. So, you know, why not? Like this, "You are amazing." I love this script, and I love that it die cuts, you know, all of these intricate lines. So it's just really beautiful. And I feel like this, instead of a large title, works really nicely as well. So this is a bow that I made with the Artistic Bows die set. also with the pattern paper from the Flower Market collection. And I made it weeks ago, and it never made it onto one of my layouts. I always intend to use it, but I feel like it actually might make it today. I feel like this may be just the right addition for this. You know, I didn't want to include the hearts. I feel like, I'm going to show you, I feel like the heart is too much, but I feel like this bow is just perfect. Thank you, Heather. So the fancy script words is, fancy script product suite is where these words and phrases come from. Debbie, I always use smooth cardstock. I personally just can't stand the textured cardstock. I do like texture in my embellishments, but my background, only smooth. Smooth and crisp white. I also don't like when my white cardstock doesn't match, or if it has like a yellowish tint to it, I don't like that. And if I die cut, for example, something like this from white cardstock and it has a different tint to it than my background, that's not going to work. But not everyone is that way. So this might not be a big deal for you or for you know, someone else, but for me it is. So that's something that I always keep in mind. Maybe like this. As I said, now I'm just trying to figure out a way to where to put it. Let me see if I missed any other questions. I feel like I missed something. No, I think I'm good. If I miss any question, Heather always helps out, but if she misses one too, just ask again. It's not that we are ignoring you. It's just that sometimes, you know, things move a bit too fast. And I'm going to mention it again if you weren't here right at the beginning. Heather mentioned in her YouTube live on Tuesday that there was going to be a craft hour with Jeff this Saturday, but she misspoke, so it's the Saturday after that. So May 13th is the next craft hour on the Pinkfresh Studio channel. So just that you know, and that you can kind of plan ahead. So you know what, I feel like this is roughly where I'm going with it. And some of those pieces are going to stay where they are right now. So what I'm going to do is start to adhere some of the things so that I then can then chuck things in, and, you know, so that not all of the pieces will keep moving on me. And what I definitely want to do is add dimension. So I will add, I will adhere some of the pieces directly to the page, but I will only put adhesive in the center of the circles so that I can then later, you know, just tuck some things under there, like this, for example. And then my photo, I want to be, you know, I want to pop. So I'm going to use some fun foam behind it for more dimension. Like this. And then I can, you know, put some things. I do want this to overlap the photo. I will put my journaling in here. I decided that that would be a good place because it has a very neutral paper and it's close to the photo, so you can, you know, it kind of belongs together. So I will raise this piece up just a little bit more than my photo. Let me check if I have any foam thingies that are a bit more dimensional. Yeah, but only 2. Okay, so I will just use a double layer of fun foam. And I think we are good on time. I think I'm going to make it. And if you don't like that much dimension, just skip the foam tape or fun foam. Or, you know, just use a single layer, whatever you like. Trying to get the lines straight. And then this piece. Oops, that was not the best idea. Okay. So let's see, what else? So I also want to have some of the pieces kind of run off the page, because I feel like this adds a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more movement to this design than having the circles just inside of the background, if you know what I mean. And a bit more fun foam. I want to have lots of different layers, just like in my last YouTube live 3 weeks ago. I shared the finished layout on my Instagram and also in the Pink Fresh Studio Facebook group a few days ago. And you can see in the detail shots there that I used lots of foam tape, lots of foam dots to create different heights and different levels. And I just really like the look that this gives. But as I said, if you're not a fan of that, you can just skip that part. All good. And now I'm just trying to not trying to overthink things and just kind of stick them down. You know, put some adhesive on it, stick it down, and move on. Because otherwise I could push those pieces around for hours. So sometimes it's good that I don't have unlimited time for these YouTube lives, because it just, you know, means that I have to get a move on. I did forget to, so what I do sometimes when I have, when I arrange things on a page and kind of like where I put things, I sometimes take a photo so that I remember where I put things, but I forgot to do that this time. So I'm not exactly sure what I did here. And don't forget, I will also add some of these chipboard flare pieces and obviously some enamel dots at the end. So I'm not too worried about the smaller spaces in between the circles. I want to keep in mind that I still want to add some of the small pieces, and that at the end, it shouldn't be too cluttered. And now one reason why I won't put the bow down here is that it's the same pattern paper as the circle, even though I really like the look of the bow here, but not this exact bow. So I would have to make a different one with different pattern papers, but no time for that. And I finally want to use up this one. Yep, that's true, Heather. Especially since I tend to procrastinate, to be honest. So if I have a deadline and if, that deadline is approaching, I suddenly get a lot more productive than I was, let's say, a few days before. So my mother-in-law actually gifted me a pencil a few years ago or something that said, I think it's a quote attributed to Mark Twain. I'm not sure if it's really a quote by him, but that said, if it weren't for the last minute, nothing would ever get done. I'm paraphrasing because it said it in German, so I'm not sure what the exact words are in English, but I felt like, she really knows me. So I'm trying to stay more or less in the center of this background so that it's not too much off to one side. But a quick tip for if, you get carried away, you put all your things down, and then you notice that, I put things a little bit too much to the left. And what you can do is cut off part of your background and then just back your layout on both sides with just a strip of pattern paper, and that way you can move things more to the center. I hope I explained that, well enough so that you know what I mean. But I feel like I'm good for, the center part, but I want something down here so it's not too much to the right side. I know, Debbie, the chrysanthemum washi and the colors in it are really, really nice. But to be honest, so this is one of my favorite washi tapes from Pink Fresh, definitely. But I gotta tell you, one of the new collections has a washi tape as well. It's the collection that I will be using in the Pink Fresh Studio Create and Connect event at the end of May. And it's my favorite washi tape from Pink Fresh Studio of all time. And if you want to see a sneak peek, go to my Instagram account after this live, obviously, and have a look into my stories. I shared a sneak peek of the collection that I will be using that includes a washi tape. And the colors of that collection are just, I just love it. It's my favorite washi tape ever. The colors are gorgeous. The collection is gorgeous. And I'm very excited to be using it in my class in the Create and Connect event. And there are actually a few kids left. So if you want to join in on the fun, make sure to go to the Pink Fresh Studio shop and snatch one of those kits up while they're still in stock. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if I missed anything. Okay, I think I'm good. I feel like I want to use this one-of-a-kind piece because, he really is one of a kind. Yeah, I feel like this is a little bit too much to the right side, but since I stuck this down with liquid adhesive, there's nothing I can do about it without ripping my paper off. So I will have to live with this and try to find a different way to get things back on track. And, while I was blabbing away, I also tucked in one of those die cuts from the Chrysanthemum collection. How exciting that you are going to receive your package tomorrow, hopefully, if UPS is, playing nicely. As I said, you are going to love it. And I like all of the new collections, but I have to say that the one that I'm going to work with is actually my favorite. So that worked out nicely because I didn't pick it. The collections were assigned to each person, and I would have been fine with either of them. But I'm very happy that I ended up with this one. Okay, I feel like I don't want to use any more of the larger circles like the pattern paper and the washies. I can keep those, as I said, either for a future project or for a card, or if in a few months I still haven't used them, then I can toss them. But I will give them a fair chance. Oops. I just lost a piece. Okay, let's see. Let's figure out where I'm going to put a few of those. I feel like it's missing a little bit of pink down here. So, and as I said, this is kind of bugging me. Sorry to keep banging on about it, but it is what it is. So yeah, let us know if you are, I would love to hear who of you is signed up for the event, who I will see in class. So if you signed up, let us know. And let us know if it's the first time or if you are, a veteran already. Let's see, the joy. Put this in here. A few more minutes left. I will add my journaling after the live, so that's all good. And I might, use a few more of the smaller pieces that I picked out. Or I also have the cardstock stickers. So there are a few phrases here that I might, add in here and there, but nothing, not a lot. I always say that, I know I always say that, and then my layouts sometimes end up with quite a lot more than what I showed in the live. Julie, Team Peak, I totally get that. To be honest, I'm very impressed by people who say they are Team No Peak, that they will wait until the unboxing event, because I probably couldn't. Maybe only if, I was going away, let's say on holiday or something, and I was physically removed from the box, but otherwise I would peak. But I'm very impressed by the willpower of some of you. Team Rip It Open, even better, yeah. It's so nice to see that a lot of you are returning, are veterans already, and already joined the last scrapbooking event or maybe a card making event. So that's always nice to hear, because it tells us that we did a good job and that you actually want to do it again with us. So that is really, really nice to hear. Maybe this one. Maybe this is what it was missing. Yep. Going to put this one down. That makes me happier. And it also brings in a touch more of the pink. Great, now my glue is kind of clogged up. So I have this one down. I have 2 of those chipboard flare. Let's see if maybe I can work in another one with a bit of green. Maybe this one, or is it too much? I'm not sure. Melissa, there will be an event planned for, what Heather just posted. So there's a holiday card making event planned for September, and registration will open in June or something. But make sure to follow Pink Fresh on Instagram and so on, so that you can so that you don't miss it. Eva, I'm really, really jealous of you. So Eva got together with a few friends for the last scrapbook event already. And they had, they just made a whole weekend out of it with friends, scrapbooking, food, and things like that. And I think that's a great idea. So if I wasn't teaching, you know, I would probably do something like that. So in any case, so this is, let's see, let's cut off the excess, first of all. So you can see what it looks like so far. Okay, so this is the design so far. You can, as you can tell, it is actually a little bit off to the left. So what I might do is what I just showed you a few seconds ago and cut off a sliver here and then put just a tiny bit of pattern paper on this side and then on this side, and that way I can move things a bit more to the center. Okay, and that's mostly, you know, I will put down a few more enamel dots, but sometimes I need to kind of hem and haw over them, and I don't want to agonize over the placement of enamel dots on this live session too much. So I will tuck in a few more things when this is over. And as always, show you the finished result in the Facebook group and on my channel. So I'm probably going to tuck in a few of those vellum leaves. I feel like they add a little bit of something without being too much. I feel like, you know, the white leaves would be a bit too much, but the vellum leaves are just the right thing. So let's see. Did Heather pick a winner yet? Don't think so. Donna, I'm very honored to that you wanted to spend time with us and actually had this on as an audio while you drove. So yeah. I think that turned out nice. I had a rough idea in mind, but I think the colors turned out nicely, and I like how the photo works with the colors of this layout. So I'm quite happy with how this turned out. Krista Hubbard is the winner. So first of all, okay, so here's the almost finished layout. And now I'm going to flip my camera around so you can see me again. So Krista Hubbard, congratulations, you are the winner of today's gift card. To claim your prize, contact Leah at pinkfreshstudio.com and give her 2 to 3 days to get back to you, and then have fun spending that money in the Pinkfresh shop. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this live. If you did, I would love it if you leave us a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in 2 weeks from now. And next week, Natalie will be back with another YouTube live scrapbooking video. And I think on Tuesday, it will be Leah again. And then, as I said, on May 13th, there will be another craft hour with Jeff. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have a great weekend. Take care, everyone. Bye.